to know like how far back you think this goes. I've had, and definitely with the help of Emily, like remembered a lot of my own programming and the gross stuff that was done to me. And for my 18th birthday, my father sent me, I was in college at the time, the VHS of The Manchurian Candidate. And as a proper Jewish American princess, I was super annoyed. I'm like, what the fuck kind of gift is this for my 18th birthday? Like, I want a Movado. I want a car. Like, this is stupid. And it didn't occur to me till just a couple of years ago, like, wait a minute. I think he was trying to tell me something. And I talked to a psychic about it. And the psychic said, he wasn't trying to tell you about your programming. He was trying to tell you about his programming. And that really upended my, what I thought I understood about MK Ultra mind control programs, where I was just like, wait a minute, how far back does this go?
It goes way back. And I just got to say, girl, I grew up with lots of Jewish American princesses, and we used to not say it that way. And I'm not going to say it the way we said it back in the day when we were all feeling it. And so had a good time. Oh my God, all the good memories. Anyway, so I love that you just said that. And so with all this, it goes way back. This goes way back. I think I see evidence of it in petroglyphs and in hieroglyphs. I see talk of it in old tomes and old literature. It's been with us from the beginning. And now, in the woo circles, first of all, humans have never been top of the food chain. And that's, I know that's hard for a lot of people that are really invested in their experience of life and being human. But it's true, even though humans have domesticated lots of stuff around them, including other humans and all this, we're still not at the top of the food chain. Mm-hmm. And this is an interdimensional thing. But if we start looking... Well, that's what we were talking about earlier with these interdimensionals that are moving through. So I don't like saying things like the reptilians and stuff like that, because I don't know. So personally, for me personally, my experiential stuff has mostly all been the bad stuff that happened to me was all been by monsters in human suits, right? So I couldn't say, well, that's this or that, but they were not human. Mm-hmm. Humans just wouldn't do this to little kids. They just would not do this. So and now we understand that there's this subcategory of psychopaths and sociopaths and this type in the psychological field. And when there's a lot of psychological profiling done on major characters that we know of that have been those people, that so the serial killers, the serial rapists, the cannibals, etc., those terms get applied to this type of person, but these are not humans. This is the Trojan horse. They are something inside of the human. And I think that psychology's gotten in the way, except for depth psychology. Now, I love me my Jung, but not the cult of Jung. Mm-hmm. And the psychology has enabled this, just like we're seeing now by terming pedophiles as the new term they have out there for them now, right?
Right. That we're supposed to have compassion for and not judge and groom our children to just hand over to them.
Oh, I can't believe that it's got a psychological title and that people are trying to gear up empathy for what is that even? Pedophiles. What's their new tag?
I think it's minor attracted persons.
Yes, thank you.
Which is interesting because it's the same as MAPS, the psychedelic thing, which I have my own opinions about.
But isn't it crazy? So that's now they're normalizing this, just like they're normalizing cannibalism and all this other creepy shit that is, to me, not humanistic behavior. This is something else.
Hey, superstars, I'm weighing in to remind you to hit that subscribe button, to like, to share, to comment, and to click the notification bell so that you will be alerted every time I post a new video.
This is something else.
Right.
And the fact that the field of psychology, this should be no surprise for people, is so deeply involved in all of this,
Mhm.
is more evidence that Tavistock is still going,
Hardcore.
that social engineering is still very much afoot, because these are new terms, just like SADS, right? Sudden adult death syndrome. I mean,
That's a
come on.
thing. That's a real thing. People just,
People, really, I mean,
right.
it can't be more clear. And so this is all at play. I want to bounce back because I didn't quite answer a question earlier. And
Mhm.
this was the pop culture question. And this was the significance of what Amy D and I are doing at Prima Donnas. Everything, and why we chose to do this.
Mhm.
Because all this stuff that we're talking about, Danny, all of this stuff is there in pop culture. This is the genesis of it. And so, and it's really, it's hard not to well, for me, I've always loved pop culture, and I've certainly been a part of it through the underground as an artist, right? Because you don't have to have people recognize you to be an undercurrent. Recognition is hubris, and it's something, because people recognize you, and we see that through historical movements of someone that didn't get recognized in their life, was actually ostracized, and then they rediscover them later, 50 years, 100 years, 20 years, whatever. And
Right.
those are some real truths out there, because they just were not seen. Pop
Right.
culture is your best way, if you're looking at it with the correct, I don't say correct, if you're looking at it with a certain stance,
Mhm.
you can look right through it and see where we're being taken as a collective, because pop culture is popular culture.
Right.
And and it's like popcorn. It's not just, you don't just have one kernel, you pop up a whole bowl, baby, right?
Keep eating and eating and eating even though your stomach hurts.
Right. And so pop culture will take you there, and this is the importance of that. So where at one level it's really fun to kind of find your sense of what you love moving through something you weren't exposed to before. An adornment is such a great way to do that. Oh, wow, I didn't even know, that you could wear that way. Or look at that as a piece of jewelry. This is awesome. And stuff like that. So it's cool on that level, but then we see how they're actually manipulating us through a very complex and very curated uh, set of images and ways of being and clothing to wear to represent something that you're being told to represent. And it became very clear to me, looking back through historical context, at when labeling started to pop up. Why was it, and why is it so many people need to see Gucci's label on their clothing, right?
Right, and those interlocking G's, like, same
Why?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, why is that?
Well, I'm not going to answer that here right now, but it's like, why is this important? And that's a
Right,
question to answer, to look at and question why. And it's branding, and we call it your brand now, everyone's brand. And we talk about that open, but really, what is branding? And this becomes, again, of goods, of the placenta you've been sold into this slave market through your placenta. And branding is a part of the process. What happens to cattle? They get branded, and
right,
we're chattel. We are being branded, and we're paying for it on our own. And so it's important to know how that's playing out. And this is what prima donnas do. It's great to relish in it, know what you're doing. If that's what you want to do, that is fantastic. I don't have any problem with it, and I actually don't have any problem with anyone's ignorance either. Do what you're going to do, but an interesting thing to start questioning. Why are you attracted to this thing suddenly? Why do you need a midriff this season? Why were you in skinny pants the last 2 years and now you're in bell bottoms? These kinds of things. Start asking yourself, why do you all of a sudden, you didn't like bell bottoms and then now everyone's wearing them. Now you're in them. Okay. What's going
Right.
on here, girl? How'd you all end up in some bell bottom? You never liked bell bottom.